Alright. I'm doing something a little stupid today. Why is my screen so foggy here? Cool. So, I want to give you maybe a little bit of an explanation on why there was such a gap in my video posting from essentially the first video I've done with the Triumph Spitfire that's doing like really well. I'm like blown away by the views that thing's getting, and it's still consistent. It's a very nice slope in terms of views. It's not becoming a parabola, I guess you could say. It just keeps going up and up. So that video was filmed, I believe, last 2 Marches ago. I don't know. I mean, that was like, it was over a year ago. That's what I've seen on the video in terms of the date it tells me. So I guess I want to give you an explanation why I did that. And truthfully, I should have been filming, but I was just overwhelmed with things, including what I'm going to show you today, which you'll see sort of behind me. Because again, that video is doing really well. I should have kept the momentum up and continued on. But essentially, 2 Aprils ago, later in the month, April 23rd of 2021, I bought my first house. And I don't even think you could really call it a house, to be honest, because it was like a total dump. Like, I ended up paying cash for the place, and you're saying, oh, you had a bunch of money. No. I didn't pay a lot for this place at all, which I'm very happy about, because houses were outrageous the last couple of years after COVID, and there's just been a crazy market going on that's finally tapering off as rates go up. But anyways, upon that journey I decided to take, I was looking forward to moving out of my parents' home. Nothing against them, but it was time to go. I'm nearly 25, but I was 24 and a half when I bought the place. So I was back home from college, and it worked for a while, and then it was like, all right, I'm this guest that's not really leaving, so it's time to look for something. And my parents, especially my dad too, we were out looking at different places. We probably looked at 5 or 6 properties, all distressed, because you know me, I like buying the junk and fixing it up. I have the handyman mentality. Like, I'm not going to pay a premium for something that's finished, because number one, I know how to fix it, and I don't need to hire people. And number two, that's really boring to me. It's like, I don't want to buy something and have it be done. It's like, what's the point? Just sell it and make a profit, maybe. I don't know. But that's my personality fault, or my sickness, I guess you could say. I don't think it's that bad, though. But anyways, so the scene you see behind me is really the main entry of the house right here. And I guess what I want to do in this video is walk you through the house, of course, and sort of the things that I've done, because I was always into automotive. Obviously, I went through architecture school, so I really enjoyed building, the wood models of the buildings and sculptures and drawing. So I've always been really handy with, using my hands and everything to create things. I was never big on using laser cutters and things like that. I always wanted to have the handsaw and the X-Acto knife and the paint and just do everything myself, because I knew how I wanted. I didn't want something else to do it for me. So I found through doing so, through renovating the bulk of this house, which it's maybe 40% done. I mean, this place needs many more years, but I'm okay with that. Again, I'm not in any rush to do anything. But I found that I really enjoy carpentry work, and almost branching from carpentry to more art-rounded design, because I'm not just slapping drywall on everything and going to Lowe's and getting, the trim and slapping it on like everyone else does. I'm trying to go a little bit beyond the norm and really bringing this house into a really high quality project in the end, for cheap, because I try to be very inventive with things, and I'll explain as I go through how I've been inventive and how I've kind of thought outside the box, because again, I'm just out of college. I mean, luckily I haven't had to spend any money on student loans because it's been on pause for, I don't know, years. So I don't know if that's going to start again or stop. I'm not going to say much about that. I don't like to get into politics, but I'm certainly liking that I don't have to pay any money. I mean, sorry, I know it's unfair to other people who've had to pay, but if they had the same opportunity, I think they'd feel the same way I do. I'm not itching to pay back the big banks and all those investors. You know, I think a lot of them are just sharks, so they can do whatever they have to do. All right, I was interrupted by a phone call, so I'm gonna flip this around, and I am gonna start the tour. So I'm just gonna worry about interior right now because it's raining a little bit outside and I don't want to really deal with that. Let me wipe this camera off because again, this camera is so foggy. That's a little better. All right, so we're at the front door here, and I'll insert some images just for this first part of the video, just to give you a little reference. So it's a typical colonial. So you walk in the door, you got your stairs to the right, you got your living, dining, whatever. I just use it as a dining room. It's more of a formal space. It looks nice when you walk in. So when I first got here, none of this stuff was here. This was all a solid wall with a door opening right here, and you can see where the plate ended. It was like a 24-inch door. It was like crap. Like these people, I'll just let you know, this place was trash, and you know, I'll keep inserting some photos of what it looked like before. What's really cool is all the flooring. Oh, and that's my little kitty. You saw him on another video. That's Panther. He's a good guy. He's stolen. I'll have to tell you that story sometime. But anyways, the flooring is all original, and I mean, it's all the oak with the really, really cool pine insert on it, which people did back then because they usually put an area rug in the middle of the floor under the table. And you know, oak was considerably more expensive than pine. So the fact that they were going to put a rug over that, they opted for the cheaper species of wood, because it was going to be covered. So why waste the money? But personally, I almost like the pine better, but I love the contrast of both of them. So essentially this floor was good, but it was covered in pee and just nastiness, grime. Everything was sticky in here. Everything smelled. So this was all sanded down. I rented one of those floor sanders from Home Depot. Did all the work myself. My mom helped me. I know, look at me. And then I did some high gloss stuff on the top, just polyurethane. These windows, it's all the original windows, but it does have storm windows on the outside, so that is a nice touch. That was how it was before, although me and my dad replaced a couple of the panes because they were busted out. But I did, in the end, stick these window benches here, which I made out of an old, like a ladder door, I guess you could call it. You know, one of those 5-panel doors. I just cut sections off of it and then, you know, use the little cool insert here to make a little bit of a depression on there. It looks nice. And then I stuck this piece of trim here, rounded off the edges. And the cool part of this, I was redoing the sills, so these are a little dusty. But anyway, these flip up. A little unfinished in there right now, but I'm working on it. But I imagine, you know, you put records in there, guns, who knows, bunch of stuff. But this table and pretty much everything in this house either came out of the garbage or was bought at a yard sale. This table and chairs I got at a yard sale. I paid $30 for the table. Really nice cherry, really cool. I wanted a rectangular one, and it was really hard to come by. There was plenty of oval tables and round tables, but I just wanted a square one because it would match the floor. And then these chairs I paid $5 a piece, and these were exactly the chairs that I was looking for. Again, nice rich wood. I like it. That chair, that mid-century chair, it's a reproduction, but I got that from my boss's friend for free, and I figured it was a really cool green that would then match the green of the room. The lamp I got for free. These French doors, it makes the room, and I actually paid through the nose through these. I bought those at an architectural salvage store, Northeast Architectural Salvage, and right on the New Hampshire, Massachusetts line in Amesbury, Mass. Really, if you're into this stuff, you gotta check them out. They have just a massive warehouse full of this. And these are really cool because this is out of like an old school or a bank or something. These were like old school fire doors. And this glass is about a 1/4 inch thick. And it has the chicken wire in it. And you can still see some of the air bubbles because that's just some defects of the really old type of methods they used to make these. Nothing was perfect, which I love. But again, they're pine. They're nearly, I think they're 1 3/4 inches. So these guys are heavy, and I actually installed these myself. Like I had a whole system of shims under there to lift it up. I actually got these little mechanisms from Amazon. I'm blown away. They're like super nice quality, and they're patinaed too. Like I paid $20 for the pair. Totally worth it. But you can see I haven't finished this, but this is some of the modification I had to do here, because this opening right here, which is original, these doors are not original, but this was all studded up because this room on the other side, which I have as my bedroom, was also a bedroom for this family before, but they ended up sticking a closet on the other side of this wall for that bedroom. So it's like you've taken every nice quality of this house of, natural light coming in all the way through, and I can open that window up, open these two up, and there's a beautiful cross breeze that just blows right through. But every opportunity they got to destroy those like passive solar or passive climate type design cues in this place, they did. I mean, they really did a number on this place. But I've also created this too. Some of these fluted elements I got at a barn sale. Again, it's just little by little I've found these pieces that I knew I had a use for, and they have their purpose in the end. I did make all this woodwork pretty much from old trim and stuff, old pine boards. I do go to Lowe's every once in a while and get a 12-footer pine board, a 1x8, 1x6, because it's like, why use old? I mean, you want it to be nice and clean. These columns, well, I guess you could only say there's 1.5. I was supposed to get like 5 of them from a guy who was knocking down the front porch system of a triple-decker, and these columns were all still there, and I was like, all right. I did some drawings for him and bartered that, I need these, I want these columns when you knock that porch down. And of course, when the porch came down, these are actually made out of, like, I think 8 pieces. Yeah, you can see they're not solid. Some of them are, but typically they're just a bunch of planks of wood that are notched to create a circle. So they just like blew to pieces, which really sucks. But he hooked me up in other ways. He gave me like some steel columns that I used to reinforce the kitchen floor and everything with a steel beam. So I'll show you that later. But again, I was hoping to at least get 2 of these because I love the craftsman look almost of you have these accentuating columns on each side of the opening, but it's still somewhat transparent. And then these still read as the heavier elements with the cornice on top. But we'll move into the next room here. And this right now, and it's going to remain, it's my bedroom. It's pretty generous size. It's right around 14 feet by, I think it's right around 14 by 14. I mean, with the exception of the chimney and the jog. Let me turn the other light on. Yeah, this light sucks. That's why I just shut it off. I just like the lamp. But this chimney obviously is original. It's not functional. There's no reason for it. Although I may end up sticking a wood stove or something on this side, and pipe it into the chimney, because all I have are mini splits in here, which are great, but if the power goes out, I'm kind of fucked. So I'd really like, a wood stove just as a fail-safe. Plus, I like the look of it, and everyone likes a wood stove. It's just something with our instincts. It just makes you feel warm and cuddly, So essentially, this was all encased in plaster when I first got this place. So I took all the plaster off because I wanted the cool look, the exposed brick, and I think it really, really makes a nice little detail corner. And then I ended up building these guys right here, which are, just those planks of pine you can get. They're like 12 inches or 16 inches by 3 feet. You can get them at Lowe's. Cut a circle out of it. Did the same with this out of a better quality, and ended up staining it. You can see that. And then some trim I actually soaked in the tub in hot water. This is something we learned how to do in architecture school, so it was fun to use this technique again. And I used the tub also to bend it into a little bit of a radius here. So you have to do it with like really, really hot water and let it soak for probably an hour, and then bend it a little. You might have to soak it again, bend it a little bit, and put it on a jig, and then, essentially nail it in. They turned out okay. I mean, a couple of them crackled a tiny bit, just because it is a pretty tight radius, but when you're just walking by, I mean, I've been the only one who really notices it because I remember cracking them. So I like that. I did build this entire thing. Again, this room was like a dark blue when I first got here, and again, these French doors weren't here, and this was all just a big closet right here, just thrown up, just junk. I think a dog died in it or something. It just smelled horrible. But this whole desk and built-in, I stuck in after the mini splits. Me and my dad installed these. So I always hate the look of just a mini split on the wall. It's always interesting to integrate it, especially getting some use around it, making some usable space for books and things. Little shelves here. You can't do too much on these two sides because some of the utilities of the mini split comes through. You can see the opening in there. I want to make a little flip up desk that, just gives me a little bit more space along here. But if I want more space to kind of move around here, I could flip that down and have all sorts of clearance. But you can look, I have, I made the little keyboard thing, and of course when I built it I made it a little too short, so I can't slide this keyboard underneath. It is kind of a bulky one, so I'm sure one of those like really slim ones, it would probably work fine, but that's all good. Nothing perfect. It's homemade. But all these little shelves I can take out and clean, which is nice. Nothing's really glued together. It's all using wood joinery and everything. And then, this is all open at the top because that's where all your air gets sucked in to then be either cooled or heated, for which it comes down here. I'll give you a little tutorial here. So again, comes with a cool remote, opens up, and then immediately I have it on air conditioning right here, and it takes about 5 seconds and then it's ice cold. It's really nice, especially when you close the doors here. This place is cool in about 2 seconds. It's really nice, or the vice versa. Again, that's the positives about a mini split. You can either make it heat or make it cool. I had this little angled book or cabinet, whatever you want to call it. I have the door that's right there behind there. I haven't installed yet, but I just wanted to give a little bit of a 45-degree element there because the bed is at a 45-degree angle. And I did build this little built-in that I haven't stuck a top or anything yet, but I love to stick an outlet on the top so you can charge your phone. You can put a lamp on here, a couple little books and things or whatever, trinkets, put, I don't know, whatever in there, doesn't matter. I'd love to do similar to this, just a built-in in this corner, because I don't like that bookshelf. It flops around and it doesn't work in the composition of the room at all. So we need to make something that maybe aligns with the top of that door and shoots over. And I'd also like to put like a little bit of a soffit that has a bit of a curve to emulate the shelves. And you know, I want to get rid of this light. I was thinking putting a fan, but it's like, I don't really need a fan. I have this, so I could see maybe, you know, a recessed light there, there, and there. Again, I'm not trying to make it modern per se, but I want it to be somewhat new but old. I don't want it to look dated, I guess you could say, and that right there is dated. And so are fans. Honestly, I hate the look of fans, ceiling fans and all that. I think they're ugly. Okay, so this is a work in progress. I just have my piece of plot paper, which I use as my projector screen to watch TV, YouTube videos, whatever. So this is a closet I actually built, so I cut a hole in this wall because this isn't bearing at all. And then this is actually my mother's, my great aunt's bookcase or drawer, whatever you want to call it. And it was going to get thrown away, so I was like, well, you know, it'd be good to like integrate to make a little built-in here. And I have some old glass window sashes that I'm actually going to use as the doors. So this will be my little closet. Obviously, put some shelves along there. Have the little coat hanger thing, the hanging rod over there. Have the doors in the front so we can hide all that. And then, you know, stain this up, put trim around this, and it'll all be like one built-in. And then, you know, this barn door, although I'm going to get rid of this barn look because I'm not going for a rustic look, I have another door that I'll put the barn door hardware over there, and it'll be able to slide over that too. So it'll all like read as one thing. And I'm trying to integrate a latch for this barn door into the desk, so it's like everything is connected and working together in here. Again, I'm not a fan of loose furniture. This stuff is just like junk. I mean, some of the stuff isn't even real wood. It's particle board, and that like makes me cry. But anyways, a little different view of that element. I may stick these inserts. They're just like screwed in like twice. I might flip them on the other side because I have some other things I'm trying to allocate from construction sites. Again, I'm in the right business. A lot of contractors who are gutting old buildings, they call me up, so it's good to have those contacts. But why don't we go upstairs, which I have to flip this little guy on. All right, another hideous light. It's disgusting. And this is where I stage my wood, because I rarely use this stair, because this is just, technically there's 3 bedrooms up here, but it's just an attic as of now, because this whole place is going to get gutted up here. It's shit. It's saving my air conditioning. But yeah, this place is freaking rough up here. That's our chimney from downstairs coming up. Oh yeah, this was the blue that my bedroom was before. It was horrible, just horrid. But this is where I have all my goodies. Have an entire staircase baluster system with railings, and also the pillars too, so I'm good there when I redo the staircase here. But essentially, I mean, it's just, they made this roof way too freaking low. Oh, there's my kitty, who's not supposed to be up here because he's gonna get into the knob and tube. Some of it's active, some of it's not. You know how it is. This is another little bedroom right here. More of my intricate stuff. But, you know, like, stuff like this I just pick up when I find it for nothing. You know, I think that I paid 15 bucks for it. It has curved glass. I hate the little top ornamentation. I'm going to rip that off. But it's a great medicine cabinet. I mean, it's cool stuff. And then this I found at some antique shop. It's a copper hood. I think I paid 20 bucks for it. It's like, that's what it is in scraps nowadays. Let's be honest. Bunch of these little stackable bookcases. Of course the door shuts because there's ghosts in here. But these are all like those units from those big stackable bookcases from like the 1920s, 1910s. And I'm using these all as cabinets because the doors are really cool. And they have the really old blue glass that has all the waviness in it. This is the 3rd bedroom right here. This at one point was in a hole in the roof. But I did end up putting a brand new roof. I had someone else do that. And that was in the peak of lumber prices. So it was $5,000 alone for just the plywood. But they did a really good job, and it had to be done. Yeah, what'd you find? This is a bunch of cherry I got. think I paid $200 for all of it, but it's really nice stuff. It's out of like some African cherry. I don't know, it's racist. But yeah, I had the floor removed because me and my friend were fucking around with the electrical, trying to assess what's here. But come on, kitty. Alright, I gotta get this guy because he can't be up here. Alright, down we go. So, like when I mentioned the staircase, all these are, this is non-bearing because all the floor joists go straight across the exterior wall, and there's a wall midpoint of the house that everything bears on. So all these are here just because they must have run out of money way back and just not had enough to do a nice staircase in here. But it will have a nice staircase, and all these studs will be gone. It'll be all open. It'll be really nice. Alright, so again, we're standing where we started here. Get the stairs here. So we walk straight up. He's running around. This place is like a little jungle gym to him. He's a lucky guy. Alright, so on our left is a little closet. Oh, and I didn't really explain this. So these, it's better if I go on the other side. So this little thing right here. These panels with the glass are actually from an old hutch that I got from a neighbor, and pretty much broken into a bunch of pieces. And the pieces are literally everywhere. Like, these are like the shelves that were in the hutch that I cut to make the benches. Again, these are the windows from the edges. And I'll show you more in the kitchen because I used like the whole base of it and flipped it upside down to make a shelf unit. It's pretty cool. But these are cool because, number one, of course I have a piece of wood on the side to keep the cat out of here at night because I try to seal them off. But anyways, these have a hinge on them, so these flip out. And the reasoning behind that is when I open these two windows and that window, you got air blowing here, right? And actually the room funnels it through these openings right here, and it ends up blowing down this hallway, which otherwise it's like a dead space. It's really screwed up how they did it, because this was like the main part of the house that was built in 1875, I think. And then this, like many other places, the kitchen, bathrooms, and all that, when indoor plumbing became more mainstream, this whole wing was added on after. So you'll see the stair goes up, right? And there's maybe, I think it's 6 foot headroom here. Maybe a little bit more, 6'3", we'll say. And then they just punched a hole out the side of the original house and then built this. It's funky, but I actually somewhat like it because when you're walking through, right, we're at like 7'6" or 7'8" ceiling height normally in this space. So we go in, and then we're essentially compressed, right? It gets really small, and then boom, it like gets really big in here. And these ceilings in here, again, they're the really cool old school tin. We're at like an 8'6" ceiling in here. So it feels like the ceilings are 10 foot in here because you're just compacted when walking through here. And all the original oak flooring still goes through. And then this, I did so much. This was like entirely gutted. Apart from, I left the plaster because I liked the plaster. It was in good shape. And obviously the tin ceiling I left. And then that light is literally the reason I bought this house. That is like original Art Deco. So I assume this addition was put on in the 20s or 30s. Probably the 20s, because no one was putting on additions in the 30s. Everyone was broke. So essentially this floor originally was pine planks, and then there was about 5 layers of roll-on floors done in the 50s with asbestos and all that crap. So all that I ended up ripping out. And then there was a bunch of subfloors on top of that. So there's probably 6 inches worth of flooring that I took out in here. So there's our 9 foot ceilings, right? So I ended up putting brand new plywood on. And also this end of the floor over here was an 1.5 inches lower than this side. So I started out with a 2x4 sleeper, you could say, or a runner, whatever you want to call it, and then just worked my way across. So it's still a little bit crooked because, I mean, it was built like that. It's not that it settled weird. But I wanted to essentially match the sills of the windows because it would look awkward if things were misaligned like that. That's the thing with an old house is you can't just do everything level, because then you'll look at windows and you'll be like, hey, that's really crooked, which that is. So some cases like that window top, all I'm going to do is probably shorten this trim a little bit and just slightly move that top piece down so it reads a little straighter. But to walk you through a bit here, again, we have all the original pine trim here. It's all like old school heart pine. It's never been painted, which is amazing, especially through the owners. You figured everything would be destroyed, painted white or pink or some weird obsolete color. But all this is original. I mean, obviously it was gross and grimy, but I just had to clean it. Same with these, you know, all the frames are still there. You know, this one right here, these guys, really, really nice. You know, again, that was stuff I really liked, you know. I knew this place needed a shit ton of work. But again, we're about 40% done, and it's a total mess in here. But anyway, a couple things I've done in here. And again, we're still going with the theme of building essentially everything out of like garbage. So like these two cabinets here are all real oak. It was like a Bassett Curio Cabinet. It had a center portion too that I still have the door from, but I got rid of that whole thing just to have these on each side. Then, you know, I got a bunch of this door casing off of an old art craftsman house that a contractor was getting rid of for free. So those are like some verticals that sort of split these two things off. And then we have one of those stackable bookcase cabinets up there with the top that actually stuck on the bottom because it's like a really nice rounded profile. And then this is some pieces of an old organ, all really, really nice quality wood. My grandparents helped out at a church and they were just going to get rid of this organ because it was in the basement. And like half of it was iron, so they scrapped the iron and then they took all the wood and gave it to me because they knew I got a thing with all these old pieces of wood that I'd like to build things out of. So have a bunch more of that stuff. But essentially, I'm going to end up sticking the fridge between this. So as it is, it accommodates a 36-inch side-by-side, but I'll probably end up going with just a single door with the freezer on the bottom, just because I don't really like side-by-sides. I think in terms of storage, they're horrible. But, you know, these end pieces I picked up at a yard sale, and it's like, it all works perfectly, because this is like a 36-inch counter right here. I'll end up probably cutting some marble to have a radius and just go over, and then the fridge will obviously split everything apart. But again, we have more of those stackable bookcase cabinets that I flipped on, you know, on their side. So they're now base cabinets. Pretty cool. And they're also really cool because they still open, which they need some refinement, obviously. This one more than others. I'll have to show you another one because this thing's just like literally falling apart. This thing's junk. It's junk. But essentially, okay, I did the same over here. And I mentioned the hutch before. This is the center portion of the hutch where the drawers were. And this heavy element on the top is actually the baseboard of the hutch. So this was flipped upside down when the hutch was complete. So I took it all apart, flipped it upside down, put this vertical paneling in the back. And then I'm going to get some maybe 1/4-inch glass shelves to stick on here and stick a little recessed light up here so it all glues through. It's going to be really cool. But anyway, this is another one of the stackable bookshelves, and this one functions a little bit better. See? Opens up, and also, you can make it slide in. So maybe for some reason I don't want the doors closed, but I don't want to smack into the thing. So now, I'll just pull it out. And boom, it's shut. This was here before. I'm just not messing with it right now because I need the sink for dishes and such. But I plan to obviously make a little L here. Probably a 42-inch right here, and then 36 where the sink is. And I bought this door off of Craigslist from a guy in Connecticut. I think I paid $40 for it. So this is like just a nice decorative panel for that bar. face, I guess you could say, and I have a bunch of this old pine trim that came from other nooks of the house that aren't really being used anymore. And you want to explain it? What do you think? No, I'll take it over then. But essentially, I'll probably stain this pretty dark, just so it matches some of the other elements here. And this, again, this is like not refined at all. This is like my visualization stage. So I'm just slapping everything together. Some things are going to get pulled off and sanded down. Because, again, I love the idea of making things out of salvaged items, but I don't want it to look like it was in the end. I want it to look like really, really high quality in the end. And then in the end, say, oh, this stuff was all garbage that I paid literally nothing for. So, there goes your whole kitchen design industry. But this looks nice. Again, I'm trying to keep this theme of, you know, groups of 3 elements, because again, the windows are like that. Let's see where else I did it. You know, the 3 shelves. Now that I think of it, it's like I don't even see where that's happening. We got 3 little cubbies here. It's going to be more common as we go through, but this is really cool right here. And I just have these paper bags because this little prick likes to scratch the vinyl. But this booth seating, this was from a restaurant that was being gutted, and a contractor just gave me these for free because he knew I was looking for them. So that's like an extremely great find, because these are like, how these sit? It's like $1,500. And he also gave me the table that went with it, which is like an oak slab with some really nice clear coat on it. Obviously it's a little dirty. And then I found this stand, some yard sale, because I knew I wanted a cafe style table. So once I had all this, I was like, oh, I have use for that now, because it's all metal. It's really cool. And also I elevated the floor in this location right about 8 inches, 7.5 inches. So when you're sitting up here, you're high up in the room. It feels like a diner. It's kind of cool. These are original lights right here that I'm going to keep. One works because the other one just doesn't have a bulb, and it's full of like bugs, probably that are probably like 40 years old. But I bought some weird glass test tube type things that are frosted, and they're going to be like 12 inches tall. It's just going to be like a tube that, you know, you won't see the bulb. It'll just glow like a whitish, yellowish color. Be an interesting effect. Again, we have our mini split here, which works well when you're sitting and having dinner or breakfast. And he already has an instinct that I'm going to turn this on and he can just climb up there and get all the cool air blown on him, right? All right, you want to show him what you do? All right, get ready. Get ready. He hears the noise. Get ready. No, 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 no. No, no, you dummy. Come on, right when I want you to do it. Come here. No, you dummy. Ugh. Alright, need some recalibrate. There we go. See? It blows right on his head, and he's like... It's like the scene from Titanic, you know? He's right at the front of the ship, you know, getting the wind blown on him. Aw, what do you think, man? Sometimes I'll lift him up and actually put him right in front of there, and he just like rolls around. He loves it. Look at him, it's just nothing but enjoyment right here, huh? Nothing but enjoyment. But anyway, we have our bathroom. Butler's pantry. I'll show you the bathroom first. This I did a lot of work in. So a lot of people are gonna hate the orange, but I actually really like it. I've always been into orange. I don't know why, but it does in camera show up really orange. It's almost a terracotta color, truthfully. So it's not too like, it's not like highlighter orange like it looks on this. He likes to drink the water because sink leaks a bit. But we still have our clawfoot tub, which I actually ground down the entire outside of it, repainted. Inside is actually in really good shape, which I was happy, so I don't have to do any refinishing of that. You know, replace the toilet. And it's funny, this toilet was bought by the previous owners, and it was just sitting here because the toilet there before was failing, but they were like probably too lazy to replace it. So I got a free toilet with the house that I ended up using, and it works perfect. It's from, I think, 2016 or something. I don't know. So it's not like one of those low flush ones. It actually moves things. It actually moves your shit down the pipe. This is a little curio cabinet I got from a state auction just because I like the look of it. I liked how tall it is, and it really accentuates the verticality of the room with like the little vent pipe that's copper. I'll probably end up polishing that. But I put all my little wine glasses of places I've been. You know, I have like the New York one with the Twin Towers that I found at Salvation Army. I had to get that. That was pretty cool. You know, Vancouver, the Great Caverns, that was way back, Provincetown. I think I have a South Dakota wall drug or whatever. You know, the huge. This is original, but all this inside, believe it or not, is all original apart from the tile. And this was all painted purple, and all this wainscoting was originally painted white with lead paint, and I actually stripped everything down. And there was also like a cardboard or a particle board vertical fluted paneling that was all like nailed on top of this. So I ripped all that out and spent probably an entire week stripping this all down because I wanted all this wood exposed. Then I did this penny tile, which I love the look of, and it's also like the cheapest tile you can get at Lowe's. It's like $3 a square. But it's not why I bought it. I mean, I just like the look of it. I think it works really well with like an Art Deco feel. And then I have a bunch of scraps, so I ended up just doing the sink. Sinks, whatever was here before, it's kind of junk. But again, like, I'm not gonna go for new appliances when I'm still working on the place, because they're just gonna get destroyed. You know, I had these doors and a lot of this paneling, so I ended up building this whole vanity pretty much, because before it was just a piece of plywood with some vertical legs on it. But you know, it has a little shelf in there, and I ended up tiling through all the way to the wall, so it's all done correctly. But essentially, you know, this will get reworked a little bit. But again, I wanted to move in, and I want to get this place going. When I first bought it, there's no way I could move in. Just the smell alone, I would just pass out. So that was one of the reasons I just had to kick ass and get this thing livable, so I could move in. Let's go to the butler's pantry. This is one of my favorite rooms in the house, believe it or not. So this is all original, which is really cool. Again, it was never painted, which is just amazing. And truthfully, I didn't, did I? Okay, I may have put some satin polyurethane on this, but even after I had cleaned this, it was like perfect. But I just figured, you know, I want to put a layer of it just to seal the cracks again and everything. And then same with the bottom. Again, it's kind of flopped into place because this floor is like a little caved down. So I have to level this up, and I'll probably have to take these doors off and cut the bottoms off so it's all level and works better with the floor so it can still open. And I'm wondering whether I do the same penny tile as in the bathroom, or if I do wood or something like that. I'm not sure. I have a bunch of wainscoting that I'm going to emulate what's going on in the bathroom and end up probably taking that plaster out, insulating in the wall, and then putting the wainscoting in. There's like, I would say a third of the house is insulated on the exterior walls, so it's better than nothing. These, all original. Actually took every bit of these off, resurfaced the edges because a lot of them didn't close well, and took the hardware off, repainted it, greased it. But look at how this closes now. Like perfect. Same with this one. Perfect. It's all original, you know? This was actually in a couple different pieces, and this piece was separated off, so I put this piece, or no, I didn't put this piece on. Part of the hutch was the exact profile with the proper notching, so I ended up just gluing this back together with a piece of the hutch, and let's see if you can see. Yep. See, you can tell a little bit that it is a tiny bit wider, but you know what? Fuck it, it worked, and it's sturdy. You know, it looks exactly like it should, and I was able to keep these. I did put this paneling on the bottom. This was some wood from the hutch that I wanted to make this nice ceiling out of. And then I stuck these LED recessed lights on to give it again, somewhat of a classy modern look, but it still looks old in here, which I love. This was a bunch of pine flooring that I got from that guy with the triple decker. He was gutting the whole place. And this flooring just smelled like straight up piss. Like, it was gross. Like, I had to sand everything out on the outside in the backyard, because I would have like died if I was sanding this in the house. And you know, I almost emulated the dining room floor, because you have like a different shade of wood on the outside, and then you have this rectangular part that's darker, and it's the same pattern as the dining room floor. This marble top, bought on Craigslist for $60. Look, it was literally to the nearest quarter of an inch, it was the exact size of this bar. It's like nuts how well that worked. I couldn't get there fast enough. I drove like 60 miles away to get that. And it fit perfectly on the back seat of my Mercedes, again with like maybe a half inch to spare. So it worked. But all these down here, all this I built. These drawers right here were made from the drawers from that hutch. At one point they were maybe 3 foot wide with, you know, the little wiggly handles on each side. I don't know what you call those. But I just cut the edges off because I like this little fluted profile that they had. And then I got a bunch of these cool brass handles. It almost have like a Frank Lloyd Wright look to me. Just simple, modern, and again, old, because they have some patina on them. But essentially this pops open, and it's just a very simple drawer. Nothing really to it. All wood. There's no little metal tracks or anything. Maybe I'll put those in later, but a lot of this cherry came from a little end table I found by a dumpster. Same with this too. All these cool little elements, but I imagine, you know, you could throw pizza trays in here, food trays, things like that, just to flop in there. Obviously silverware goes in here. I don't know what the hell I have in there. Nothing. I'm just a single guy. I don't have jack shit. All I have is freaking Pop-Tarts. That's all I got. But, oh, anyway. Look at all the storage in here. It's so nice. It's like, truthfully, the reason I don't even use those drawers is because this literally stores everything I ever need. It's so much room in here. That's what's so lost about Butler's Pantries. Like, they should put them on more houses, because look at all this cabinet space. It's like none of it's, I barely used any of it, you know, when I'm all set. You know, because you kind of centralize all your storage, and now you don't need all these kooky looking wall cabinets everywhere. You know, you could do these really nice glass ones that you just fill with like bowls and cups that you'll never use, but it looks good. You know, that's what the American dream is about, you know. At least that's my dream, to be honest. Because we have such a high ceiling level here, I want to put some transoms above these windows. I think that would look really cool. You know, whether they're just a clear glass, or if I can find some stained glass or something to do that. I have a door for the bathroom. I just haven't put that on because, again, I live alone with my cat. He doesn't mind seeing my butt cheek or whatever. It doesn't matter. This is a really cool room right here. Let me turn this light on. This is the enclosed porch. All exposed structure on the outside. Really, really cool. Obviously this was all white and chipping off. I repainted all yellow because that's the color the house is going to be. All storm windows. No screens, which kind of sucks. I gotta get screens for this place because bugs like hornets come in here too. Luckily I redid the fascia, so I put a bunch of rock wool, stuffed it down there because freaking wasps were like getting in here like nothing else. And luckily the cat was killing them, but they were honestly killing my soul. But this is where the magic happens here. This is my little drafting table. I just put this in here maybe 3 weeks ago, just because I finally got this into some sort of substantial completion in here. But you got the light there. I'm gonna stick some shelves up there, put some of my college, you know, architectural models and things, some of my paintings and drawings and stuff. I bought this file cabinet. It's all oak. It's freaking sick. I paid $1 for it because they were like, oh, I'm so sick of having this filing cabinet. I was like, all right, I'll take it. And, you know, I don't really store anything in it. I think I might have some of my car titles and registrations. But, you know, when I'm doing little projects on the side, you know, I'll have my little files right here. I can stick them in and whatever. I just don't have a lot of files right now because I don't have a printer in here. So there's not many pieces of paper around. But I got the Wicker Furniture. I got a yard sale. That really funky color, they painted it, which at the yard sale I was like, God, maybe I don't want to buy this. But when I put it in here, it works really well with the room. I like it. The cushions almost reflect the ceiling. And then obviously the yellow here reflects the yellow of the wall. I have an old 48 star flag there that my great-grandmother had, I do believe. And, you know, I have the thermal curtains and things, Mr. Miyagi wall over there, I call it. And then an old school subway sign from, that was, I think that's Inwood in Manhattan. That's way the hell up there. That I bought at an antique show. I think I paid $180 for it. It's such a steal in my opinion, because when do you get the chance to buy something like that? That says, that was right on Broadway, you know, not the nice Broadway, but whatever. Really cool screen door too. I got at a yard sale. I paid $20 for it. All painted black, which I like. Has all the cool little wood bars. In the screen is like that. It's like the old school metal screen, and it's perfect. There's no holes in it at all. The only thing I noticed is it has these little corner things. One of them's missing, so boo. I'll find one. But really, I mean, when you're not in a rush to find stuff, everything just starts to fall in your lap, and it's great because you save so much money, and you get such nice product in the end. This door I got for free. This is just your run-of-the-mill 1960s, 70s door. I figured it would serve its purpose for now because it did somewhat match the wood of the trim. But I actually found another door that has like a lot more glass on it, and actually the glass can be removed and then a screen put in, but it's like from the 30s. It's freaking awesome. It's in the basement. I'll show you. But I think that's, nope, we got this little catch-all room. This is like old insulation, not old insulation, but insulation I didn't use. This stuff is just kept in here to keep the cat away from it. I don't want him playing in insulation. It's the other side of my closet. This will end up being like the main bathroom in the end, because that bathroom is really tight. So I imagine, you can tell I put cement board here because I'll probably end up tiling around here. We'll have the barn door into the master bedroom and also the door into the kitchen, so we could definitely have this locked up, and then this room is only private to the master bedroom. It's kind of a multi-purpose type flexible system, but this is a decent room in here. It's like, I think it's 12 by 9, 12 by 10. Really generous size for a bathroom, which is nice. It's going to be a really good spot. I may even get rid of this window and put a door here to a little balcony. I don't know, because I might put a garage in the back of this freaking joint. We'll see. But I can imagine, you know, tub, another clawfoot tub there with, you know, with a shower and everything. Toilet here, because plumbing, you know, all is centralized over here. And then probably do the sink right here with a nice, you know, maybe a couple wall mirrors or something like that. A lot we can do here. Maybe a vaulted ceiling or something with all wood boards. Again, I'm trying to stick with a Craftsman Art Deco look, so it's going to be determined by what falls on my lap, you know? All right. Down to the dingy basement, and it's really dark initially in here. So we got stairs, and darkness, more darkness. There we go. So you got our electrical panel right here. You can't see anything. Oh, okay, forget it. So these stairs right here, obviously, were under the stairs that go upstairs. That's just usually how houses are laid out. And then we got our electrical panel over here. Some temporary columns, because some of the joists are a little fucked up in here, which is no big deal. But this is the back area, and this has been my workshop. It's a total disaster, I know. I wasn't planning on filming this today, but I gotta get some video out. But anyway, so this is where we just came from. You can see the stair off to the side, the electrical panels over there, some of the temporary columns. This is a little partition. There's an old oil tank over there, and then the furnace boiler thing. That's a piece of shit. It's all locked up and looks like it's been underwater, so it's junk. But again, what's really cool, it's all poured slab throughout this thing. This slab is like 9 inches thick. So I'm gonna end up running a couple steel columns with a nice wide flange steel beam across to cut that span in half. And I don't have to worry about cutting footings and all that because this slab is massive. And then, it steps down. And then we have we're at like a 7'3" head height up here. So this is fine. This is great for a basement. And it's a walkout, which is great. So we have all sorts of natural light because we're facing south here. So in the morning, it is bright as hell in here, which is great. I like, a lot of people just put curtains up and their houses are really dark. I hate that. Like, I want natural light. I like it. I find it makes you feel better. So this is the main way I usually get out because, I park my vehicles in the backyard for the most part. I have a little dirt driveway area. This door's a piece of crap. This is actually a door I was talking about for the upstairs that goes to the porch. You'll see. It's not functioning. Okay. So we have our glass, right? For most of it. Really cool. It's all still wood. And then we have this cool little insert right here that I assume you take a flathead, unscrew this, loosen it, and it must have a little arm that hooks into this piece of wood. So then you can take this glass out and stick this screen in, which is normal now with storm doors, but this was like really old technology, which I think is really, really cool. So this needs some repair work. It's pretty sun-baked on the other side, but I think I'm just going to paint it black on the other side to match the screen door. And then this will be facing into the kitchen, which will again match really well with the trim and all that. But really beautiful door. I think I paid $100 for it, but I totally think that's worth it. This is actually the same sort of door I made those window benches out of. You'll see the rectangle. I actually made some exterior trim out of this for those windows on the outside, so it actually has this underneath. I'll do a video showing the exterior when it's not raining. This is a door I bought that'll go on the outside as a storm door because I have the same one pretty much, except it's all rotted out. This will end up sticking in this opening to my other little workshop. And this, again, really cool because it's got that chicken wire in it. I might paint this all black. I don't like this. I'm not into this turquoise look, but it has like the burled wood or whatever you call that. I don't know what that is. The doorknob and everything. This is probably 1920s, something like that. Again, I'm trying to make this house somewhat of a roaring 20s, but not like too crazy. Sometimes people go a little bit too crazy with things. But one more thing. This room, what the hell are you doing, cat? This room is probably going to end up being my wood shop because it's nearly 20 feet long. So it's like ideal for long pieces of wood to stage them on a table saw and such. And the width-wise, I would say it's 11 foot wide, 12 foot wide. So it's weird. It's a weird proportion, but it works really well for a wood shop. And then we have more of my mechanical shop that we have another door here that will end up probably going to my future garage. That'll be right off the back of the house. So this will be up at the front of it. And I'll have my workbench. I have a toilet and a sink down here, which is so cool. So I'll convert that into a utility sink so I can wash parts and things like that. And then obviously the toilet down here in case I have to piss or take a poop. But we have this I built. The pegboard and all. I have these lights I found at Lowe's. They're really cool. They're just 2 foot long and they're LED. I don't really like the fluorescent because it like flickers and I get migraines really easy, so I'm not really a fan of those. But essentially, I'll build a bench here, or I'm always looking for old like medical cabinets or something because you can make those into really, really cool workbench systems with all sorts of metal drawers and things. That's similar to what you'd pay 10 grand for from some of those like Matco companies and Snap-on and all that. It's like some of these are just being gutted out. You can get them for free. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. But I got all these old school Philco ignition parts cabinets that, I'm just using for tool storage and things. Of course, all my tools aren't in storage. They're just strewn about everywhere. But we got our pegboard, and I put a little trim on the top just to finish it off. And all my old Nyland trucks, Tonka trucks and shit, they were all in boxes in my parents' house. And I was like, you know what? These things are cool. These need to be displayed. So all these are pretty beat to hell, but I played with them a lot. These were those steel columns that I got as a substitution for those decorative columns that pretty much blew up when they demoed that porch. So these are like, I believe they're 6x6, quarter inch plate. So this is under the kitchen, of course. And originally they had this just clear spanned nearly 14 feet, and it's like that floor had a crazy bounce to it. So this was actually 2 C-channels off of a frame of a travel trailer that, again, we got for free. So you'll see some of these like little welded portions that were like some cross braces that were welded on for the trailer frame. So this was just, you know, one from each side. I just cut them off, and then, you know, drilled holes and then threw a PT 2x6 between and bolted them together, because there's some metal bump outs and things that, you know, if you just bolted the 2 pieces of metal straight to one another, it would be like crooked and weird. So the wood just creates a nice little buffer between it. And then, you know, obviously I have some angled brackets that, you know, are ledger locked and then bolted to the post. So everything's like super tight together here. They do have base plates with holes, so he's blocking my view. He's like making some problems. But we'll bolt those into the floor. It's all concrete in here, 4 to 6 inches thick, and this isn't like, it's not load bearing. It's just, again, it's just stiffening the floor. We're not looking to reinvent the wheel. But again, apart from it raining, you see my Mercedes out there. I'm gonna release a video really soon on that car, because that car is fucking sick, and I have some plans for it too. In terms of traveling, I'm gonna put that thing through its paces, I think. But we'll get to that. That's my backyard. I have 0.57 of an acre here, and I'm pretty, you know, I'm near the center of town here, where I'm not going to disclose it, but it's crazy property for around here. So people were very jealous for what I paid for this place, because I really got it for what the property was worth. Plus, it's a really cool house too, you know. That was an old chimney that went through the kitchen that I ended up just taking the top of it off when they re-roofed it, because there's no point in it, other than to create issues, because it was somewhat unstable at the top. It needed to be redone, and I just didn't feel like dealing with it. But anyway, try not to let this guy out, because he can't go outside yet. Here we go. We'll just peer out the window. Really nice property. Really cool old ash tree too. You know, neighbors on that side, but both my neighbors, they're so cool. You know, they're sort of on the same boat as me. They bought, you know, distressed properties, and they're fixing them up. And this guy just really wants to go out and play, doesn't he? What the hell is all? He likes to get the cobwebs, so he's a little funked up. They have a really cool barn, but that's my little shed to the left, behind the Mercedes. Some of my condensers and things, you know, for the bedroom and for the kitchen. But essentially, guys, for the interior, that's about it. I mean, again, I ran through this in, I don't know, 30 minutes or something. I try to keep videos not much more than 30 minutes, but this has been my life for like the last year and a half or so. Yeah, you too. You've been part of my life too. Kind of an annoyance. Oh my gosh, he's crazy. But it is certainly coming along, and now that it's my home base now, I can kind of chill out a little bit. Yeah, I know. I've been posting a lot of videos now because I have my computer set up. My internet is literally using the mobile hotspot on my phone, so it's not a good system at all. But I'll improve it, and once I get a garage here, I'm just gonna start churning out some content. I'm buying all sorts of cars because, you know, my parents are cool. They have plenty of garage space, but I don't think it's right to buy cars and just store it at your parents', you know. I got plenty of room here that once I have the garage, I'll be able to do whatever. But as of now, we're sort of puttering around a little bit with this place. It's livable, it's dirty. Again, I mean, I was working through a bunch of crap the last couple of days, so I don't put things away when I do that. But, you know, every 2 weeks I really make an effort to clean everything up and neaten everything up. Of course, it's not today when you guys see it. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will shortly release a video on the exterior of the house, because the exterior is going through an equally awesome transformation. But I think we'll have some car content coming up the next couple weeks. My dad's messed around with his 50 Ford, which is really sick, so he's been itching for me to edit some of those videos. So we'll have a steady stream of content. As of now, we'll keep it one video a week, and then we'll slowly maybe move up to 2 videos a week. I don't know. It's a lot of effort, because to upload videos, I have to go to work. I have to go to my job and upload it at the office. It's like, there's no way things are going to upload here. So it's kind of a rinky-dink system now, but we're making it. I think we have so many cool things going on that, you know, I've had many of my friends saying that you need a YouTube channel, because you guys like just do all sorts of craziness. So, and you know, we don't take a lot of photos of things, so it's like, this is going to be like a nice record of things we've done, you know, in 20 years, if we still have internet, whatever the hell. I'm down to thinking I had 1 year, because I don't know if I have a lot of faith in the world. But we'll see what happens. And it'll be a good way to look back on things we've done again, you know. But hope you guys, again, enjoyed the video, and we'll be at it again real soon. Take care, guys.